but seriously, I feel like I grew up, I mean, we're not too far in age, but I really grew up seeing a lot of your movies, so.
Oh my God,
I
I'm
felt
so
like,
old.
No, I felt totally like kind of prepped for this before even getting into it.
Jeez.
But now I never saw the new Partridge Family.
Oh, no.
So what's that? Is that the first gig ever?
That was a reality search competition that I auditioned for when I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I had been in LA for 3 months when I was 15, and I was auditioning a lot, and I wasn't getting any parts.
Were you staying at the Oakwood Apartments?
No, I was staying at Park La Brea.
Okay.
Did you ever live at the Oakwood?
No, but there's a documentary about it that is
I haven't
terrifying.
seen it. I heard
It makes
it's
you not
super
want to
scary.
really be in this business.
Have you lived in LA?
I shot Beautiful Boy in LA, actually, and actually shooting that here, it felt like, oh wow, maybe I'll move out here. This is a great city and a great vibe. And then, I don't know, something, I don't know, like the more you, I feel like the more time you spend out here, I don't know, I don't want to get lost in the sea almost. I want to like grow as a human, as a guy.
I understand.
I feel like in New York or in Paris, or anywhere really, like, not anywhere, but like New York I often think about.
But cities where people also do other jobs
Yeah, do other
outside
things.
of the entertainment industry.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Have you
understand.
been in LA basically since you?
No, I moved to New York when I was 20. So
Okay.
I've been in New York for 10 years, but I spent a ton of time here.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
And then did you get that job or that was just an audition? Well, no, you got it because it's on your.
I got it, yeah.
Okay.
No, I won the role of Laurie Partridge
Okay,
on In Search
all right,
of the Partridge
okay.
Family. And we made one episode, and then we were not picked up to series.
Oh, so it's just a pilot.
It didn't work out.
Oh, so that footage doesn't like exist.
It does exist somewhere.
But you've seen it.
I have seen it.
And you're proud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And I wish that you could have seen it too.
No,
But
honestly, I didn't know it was a reality.
I'm sad that you didn't get to.
No, but well, it was a pilot.
Yeah, it was.
What about,
I became a pilot.
Okay, I'm gonna rattle off some. But
Okay.
last year I felt like I was cutting off Daniel Kaluuya lots, so tell me if I'm like
No,
cutting you
this is
off or anything.
fantastic.
Okay,
Go
all right.
ahead.
Okay, then Superbad, which at the time for me, and I'm speaking for guys and girls my age everywhere, like that exists like in the Mean Girls universe for me. Like as far as like defining
That's awesome.
like a moment for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
what was that? Did that feel like a get when you got it? Was it insane being on that set? What was like Jonah like at that age? That was like his first gig?
Yeah, because he was 23, maybe 22 or 23, and I was 17. And no, I was out of my mind with excitement. I was so happy to do that. I also worked for like 8 days on that movie, but it felt like 8
really?
months.
Yeah, it feels like.
Yeah, I wasn't really.
Do you laugh at it? Do you think it's funny?
I
or?
love it.
Okay, good.
I love it so much. Have you seen it recently?
I just watched it like 2 weeks ago,
You
actually.
did?
Yeah, just I think it's like Michael Cera's so excellent in that
He's
movie too,
fantastic.
and he's so good at like not project. Like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be.
I know. He's so good. And Martha, who played Michael's love interest, became my best friend. She's my best friend.
Who plays
Martha McIsaac.
Oh, really?
Who
So, and you
plays
met her on
Becca.
that?
Yeah, I met her on that.
Oh, that's really heartwarming.
Yeah, we lived
That's
together
really
for
nice.
years after that. It
Like
was
as
really
actors, as actresses?
Yeah,
I guess
just
you
like-
can say both.
Good. Yeah.
All right.
You can say both.
Okay, and then The Rocker, which is not
Stop
a
it.
movie that a ton of people have seen, but I think is fucking brilliant. And that's what has one of my favorite movie quotes in it, where Rainn Wilson pukes in his hand before a show, and you're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Some people rock a rabbit's foot. I rock a pocketed puke." And
I can't believe
I don't feel
you're
like-
quoting The Rocker.
dude, I love.
This is
That I've seen more
incredible.
than Superbad. That I've seen like
Really?
4 or 5 times.
What
yeah.
drew you to that so
I think
much?
Rainn Wilson is
That Rainn
like
Wilson is
an
brilliant.
well, no, people know how good he is, so I guess not like an unseen genius, but he really is so funny in it. And you are.
I have to
excellent.
ask you a question now,
Yes.
though, because of
Okay,
Rainn Wilson.
sorry, yeah,
because
yeah.
Rainn Wilson leads to The Office, which leads to Steve,
Yes.
and we've both worked with Steve
Yes,
now.
yes.
What was it like working with Steve?
What a dream! Like, I realize the more I act how important trust is to it all.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's not obvious. And then I did Call Me by Your Name with Army, and I felt so safe.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the ability to be ugly or be bad, or
Yeah.
like not be able to weep in a scene where you're supposed to weep or whatever, and you don't
Right.
feel like you're getting judged or something. And with Steve, like, it could be intimidating too, being opposite someone very well known before you have any sort of career. And
Yeah.
he put me at such ease, and beyond that, he's like incredibly talented and a great human, a great dad, a great man. Like he'll open. When you go to set in the van, he'll open the door for
always
everyone.
holds the
You do
door
that
for
on
everyone,
your set
of course,
too?
yeah.
It'll pass, though. It always does.
What does?
The feeling of being alienated and isolated.
Huh, that really helps. Thanks for the advice, Dad. Because you did Crazy Stupid Love with him.
Crazy Stupid Love and
Battle of the Sexes, of course.
Yeah,
Of course,
and
yeah.
but he's been like that since. I mean, he was
Always.
always holding the van door.
What was Crazy Stupid Love like?
It was so much fun.
That movie's so
It
good.
was so
It's so
much
awesome.
fun. It was
Man,
really
Ryan Gosling
great.
is like the perfect man in that movie.
He's incredible, and we got to improvise so much, and it was just
The
like
stuff in
a
the
dream.
house?
Yeah, the stuff in the house. It was so much
Whoa,
fun.
like those wide shots are so epic. You're like, wow, do people really live like this?
I don't know if they do. It was an empty
No,
house.
yeah. No, that's like a utopic movie, weirdly.
Yeah,
It's like a
exactly.
utopia. And
Yeah.
that, Jonah, who's the boy in that, I'm forgetting his last name, I went to high school with him.
Really?
Yeah, really weirdly.
Oh my
So he came back and he shot Crazy Stupid Love, and all of us other actors were bitter. Now, was Easy A, did that feel like, okay, did you sense like a change or something? Because I feel like I was very aware of you after seeing The Rocker and Superbad, and then it was like, okay, now.
I was really in love with that script, but I put so much pressure. I was 20 and I put so much pressure on myself.
Okay.
And was just like, while we were shooting it, I was just like going nuts. And I was like, I don't know, this whole thing could fall apart. I have no idea
Yeah.
because I was, I had to be there all day, every day. And if I wasn't on screen, I was like narrating. It was just like too much me. And I was like, this is going to fall apart.
So it wasn't like the most enjoyable.
No, but
or
it was just
stressful.
because of my own,
Right.
And
what was that stress composed of? Like, this is my shot. If I mess this up, then
it was kind of like I just felt like it had to be well calibrated throughout, and it was the first time that I had ever had to rely on myself mostly to be able to carry all of that. Yeah, I think it was just I put so much pressure on myself.
And then when you saw it, you were.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I've seen some scenes.
Okay.
But I went to a friends and family screening to see it, and I had to get up and walk out. I was, who wants to watch themselves for that long?
Yeah, no, not me.
Do you obsessively? Can you watch your stuff?
Well, no, I mean,
because I can now.
If I like what it is,
like the
then
film
yes. Yeah.
itself.
Listen, I had a small part in. When I say listen, we're
Listen.
sitting right here next to each other.
You know what? Fine, I will.
Fine. Yeah, I was listening before. But when I did Interstellar, I saw that 12 times in theaters in IMAX.
You did just to figure it out.
Well,
you're trying to crack that code.
that's good. Trying to figure out the ending, but
because you loved it.
because I loved it, and in fact, Christopher Nolan had a screening at Lincoln Square. I forgot about this. I really haven't thought about this moment
That
until right now.
underground theater in
No, it was in the IMAX. It was in the IMAX one. Although I know those underground ones, the red, the fluorescent lights. And he invited just some of the people from the cast, which is surreal because it's a huge IMAX theater. But it was just like me, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, and John Lithgow. And I really had no career at this point, so I was like the fraud a little bit in the room. And I saw it and I loved it, but then I went home to my dad and I like wept for an hour.
Why?
Because I just figured my part was like bigger or something. I don't know.
No.
They didn't even like cut anything. I just figured. I don't know what I figured. Like,
it just felt so giant when you were
that's exactly it.
And while you were reading
that's
it,
it.
you
The
were like,
sets were so big.
Yeah.
Also, there's this. I have this monologue in space. That's like McConaughey's like most brilliant acting in the movie, where he's getting those video logs. I don't know if you've seen. He starts weeping, and it's really amazing. And the whole thing plays on him, as it should, because that moment's about him. Whatever.
Like, what
but I'm in the
about
theater
me?
and I was like.
I had incredible stuff here.
I know. And then it cuts like a grainy computer screen.
Wait, so let's talk about up until, I mean, obviously in the past couple of years, things have been pretty electric for you. But how did you feel, what you're saying, like watching films like that you were in, or what did you feel a lot of dejection?
No, it wasn't dejection, and some part of my brain makes me want to say immediately, like, there was always gratitude to be working because
of course,
because I grew up in an actor's building in New York, and I know the privilege it is to be able, like, whether via commercials or anything, to support yourself. And yet, when I saw Interstellar, and it's like my favorite director, and like McConaughey's just killing it, and he's like so good, and I was there, So I don't know what it is. It's a feeling of like, man, I feel like I'm getting close, but but the cliches about this business are how difficult the odds are often as they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I know what worked for me really conversely, because I went up for all these things and I tested for Spider-Man, I didn't get it, and like a Tim Burton movie too, and like these things weren't happening. And I thought, okay, like, well, who knows?
Tim Burton's a crusher.
He really did that happen to you?
Oh my God, when I auditioned for Alice in Wonderland, I was like, oh. And
wow.
then not getting a Tim Burton movie
Yes.
is really devastating.
Did you read for him?
I mean, this is a pretty esoteric conversation. Like, you know the feeling of not getting a Tim Burton movie. Working
I
at
do,
all
though.
is fantastic. You're
Yes.
exactly
No,
right.
but for me, it was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
God, so good.
So, and then ironically for me, it was like doing more like independent films that, and I feel like that's what helps me not be cynical and kind of inspired about the landscape we're in now, is if like studios controlled things more before. That's my impression of it.
Yeah.
Now, like, people want a mirror in the things they see. They want to like see things shot in a way that don't feel like the sheen of Hollywood is there. So I think, you know, and they want to like see stories that feel real. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I totally disagree with you.
Okay.
I absolutely disagree. We are on totally different pages, but whatever, it's
That's
fine.
all right.
So, just kidding. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's an exciting time. There's a lot of shift happening.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out my little
Oh, you got your
pathetic
notes?
piece of paper here. Okay, and then The Help. That was. Did you know how special? I guess what's my question? Did you know how special it was while you were making it?
There was
Yeah.
the book had been written.
Oh,
and we
yeah,
were
okay, of
making it off
course,
the book,
okay,
and the book
okay.
was so wonderful. So I think that was the first time I had ever done something that had been adapted like that.
Okay.
So that's you know that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and bring it to a little life. Was it different from the book in many ways, or no?
It was pretty similar, and it was such a beautiful. We were all in Mississippi together. We lived like 2 blocks from each other. Everybody spent the whole.
that's amazing.
It was the first time I really understood. I mean, I had done a movie called Paperman where we were in Montauk in the winter all together, and everyone ate together every night. But I really now understand what it is to have that kind of family
camaraderie, okay.
away from home and spending
Yeah.
all that time together. It builds something,
Really special.
yeah, irreplaceable. I
And
think.
then you feel like it helps the acting even weirdly, like.
I do,
Yeah.
because like what you were saying, if you feel really safe with those people, if you feel like you can be anything in front of them,
Mm-hmm.
then there's nothing but, freedom
Right.
then when you're working.
And was it crazy seeing Jessica Chastain like be this incredible?
Yeah, and also when she was there, when we were in Mississippi, she was like, yeah, I have like 6 movies coming out next year, but nothing's come out yet. And I was like, oh, great. It sounds like you're doing a lot of work. And then all of a sudden it was like everything. Yeah.
And like A Most Violent Year. I mean, that was later, but she's been in incredible things too. But really, that movie,
phenomenal.
I saw that with my sister in Times Square, and like those scenes with Viola Davis and Octavia Spencer, they're all so special too. And I guess that was another one for me too, like after The Rock or Easy A, where I was like, wow, this actress is amazing.
You're
and
very
I love,
sweet.
No, but it's true, and like I love when people. I haven't like really done straight comedy yet, but even when we were taking these pictures
want
before
to?
together, I do, and like I could see you don't take yourself too
so
seriously.
cut out for it. You
All
would
right.
be amazing.
All right, well let's cook something up.
Please do it. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
all right.
All right, we're making it
we'll figure
happen.
out. No,
Wait, I had a question for you. You worked on. This is a little bit personal between us, but we have another connection.
Yes.
You worked on the movie Miss Stevens with
Oh my gosh.
Jordan
Yes.
and Julia.
Yes.
Jordan Horowitz produced La La Land.
Yes.
And they just really wanted me to bring that up
No,
because they're wonderful human
they're
beings. And they
wonderful
love you
human beings,
very much.
and truly, like I dropped out of college when Interstellar came out to make it a little full circle because I was like, great.
Really?
I was like, this thing's gonna come out.
Before it came out, you dropped out?
Yeah, and I was
Wow.
like, and I'll just.
How long did you go to college?
I went for a year.
Okay.
And I was like, I'll ride the path of
You're
this.
just gonna coast.
Nope, like it was like not a thing. My part wasn't
Whoa.
that big in it, and it was very presumptuous to think otherwise. And I took that year off, and
What did you do?
like I don't want to. It would be counterintuitive to act like it was more dramatic than it was, because people go through. These are still first world problems. People go through way worse, and yet for me. That was like the scariest year of my life because I didn't have a career.
Yeah.
I had tasted enough of this stuff where I kind of could see what it maybe could be, but it wasn't presenting itself, and I wasn't in school anymore, and had this complex where I was like, oh my God, am I gonna be one of these people that was like happy when they were like 16, 17, 18, like spends the rest of their life like jaded?
You peaked in high school kind of
that
thing?
was my fear,
was your
truly.
fear,
I was
yeah.
like, I'm gonna be like Brad from high school. No, and truly Miss Stevens is a movie that was really small. Not a lot of people have seen it, but that and Call Me by Your Name, that like for me, If I could speak self-referentially, if that's all right. It's really like Miss Stevens is like the prelude for me, and like Call Me by Name's chapter 1, Beautiful Boy is like chapter 2. That's like how that's like how I see it. And Miss Stevens, you know, I went to a drama high school, and that movie's about basically a teacher and a kid who like finds himself through drama, basically.
Yeah.
And that was really my experience. So when I read that, I remember like just
You went
kind
to
of
the
flipping
Fame
out.
High School, didn't
yes.
you?
Yeah. Like
Wait, did it feel like Fame? How many people ask you that question?
No, but I mean, here's the thing, like, there were like people dancing on the tables. That is a thing.
That really happened?
Yeah, absolutely. And
what, at lunch?
At lunch, and there's like Spirit Week, and I shouldn't even bring this up because people find everything online these days. But like, man, I saw this video the other day of me like my freshman year in high school. There was like a Spirit Week like dance contest.
What did you do?
I like didn't keep all my clothes on, but it's
So you're just free to like really express yourself here.
Yes, and
it really opened up a lot for you. You were like, I want to do this.
That's, yeah, in a non-facetious way again. Like, I got there because my sister went there, and I went to a really, I had a bad time in middle school, and like, I figured if I went to an arts high school, it would mean less homework or something.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. But then I felt like drama class was like sitting in rows.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was like lock eyes with someone and like bury yourself. And like, did you do drama? Do you ever do any training?
I mean, a little bit. I took like acting classes.
In Los Angeles?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I did not
Like
do
in La La
any
Land or
formal
no?
training. Like in La La Land?
Yeah.
Did I do?
Does she not take acting classes?
No.
No, she doesn't. She puts up the
does it-
one-man show at the theater.
Yes,
I'm
she
sorry.
does.
Okay,
yes, she
okay.
does. I did not
Yes.
do a.
Man, that part is
no,
so
I did not
sad.
do the one-man
That
show
part is so sad
situation.
he doesn't come.
God, I know he doesn't come.
And then you guys have the argument that's so. I feel like so many couples go through that. Okay. Another one that I saw maybe like 6 or 7 times in theaters.
In theaters, you saw something 6 or 7 times.
Birdman.
Oh, that makes sense.
That movie is
Oh
so
yeah.
good.
Man.
Did it feel like, I don't even know what the question is, like how special was that to work? Did you know how special it was?
Yes, and that one was really, really like walking a tightrope the entire time because we had all this rehearsal to plan out those shots because everything was in one, and then actually shooting. It was just, I mean, it was like it was incredible, but it was also like, how is this gonna? I mean, Michael Keaton was like, I can't even believe what he pulled off in that movie.
It's amazing. I love that argument scene. You just smoke the joint in there, and like your eyes are glassy a little bit.
I hoped I might be employed here by you. As something.
A monster for the children to play with, perhaps.
Yes, if you like.
Okay, and now this year, this movie is the favorite, and I want to know what. So what?
You're doing such a good job.
I'm trying. I'm like, I feel like I'm on 60 Minutes. So Yorgos, I want to know what was that? Was it as basic as like an email with an attachment, or was it an agent making you aware of the project? Because I know from the outside, I don't know if it came out when I was in high school, but when The Lobster came out, I know my friends and I were like, "What is this movie?
Yeah.
And who has made this?" Then Killing the Sacred Deer came out, and it was like, "This man's a genius. We don't know what he's thinking.
What is he thinking?
What is he thinking?"
That was.
And then the favorite, like, it's. As I said to you last night, because we ran into each other briefly last night, I was so curious. I find often when there's a wild element in a movie, everything else will be static, so that wild element is especially accentuated.
Yeah.
And what I really liked with The Favorite, and it felt very bold, was that it wasn't like Killing the Sacred Deer, where it's like, here's the contemporary world, and here's this really weird thing happening. It was like, here's a period piece with this really weird love triangle basically happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm sorry, how were you made first aware of it, and did you know Yorgos' work, and yeah.
My agent had met him, told me about him, asked if I could read the script. He was not thinking of an American, I think, at all.
I read about that, right?
In the cast.
You auditioned for it.
I auditioned for it, but when I met him, have you seen his movie Dogtooth?
I haven't.
Oh God, you have to see Dogtooth.
Okay.
It is bananas. And so I watched Dogtooth because I hadn't seen any of it. The Lobster hadn't come out yet. And
Oh, so this is
I watched it.
This is a while ago.
This is
then.
in 2015. So Lobster came out in 2015. So I met him that summer. And I watched Dogtooth, and I was like, this person is going to be crazy. Like, I don't know what it's going to be like to sit with him. And then we went for lunch, and he's like very, very lovely. And all of his madness is in his art, which is a great thing, but it's a lot of madness,
Yes.
you know? So I was just like, just take me. I want to do anything with him. I still do. I'll do anything with him. I think he's brilliant. And
he's like
it
very,
was really
when you meet him,
wonderful.
he's really,
Yeah.
he's like a man.
He's a man.
Yes.
He's a man. But no, he's really wonderful.
And did you feel like that was a conscious choice on your behalf to, when I think of movies like The Help or La La Land, I don't know if they literally had studio financing, but they don't feel like it almost, or similar to The Green Book. I haven't seen that yet, but I think, as Greta will say to me sometimes, like the most important things in life are cliches, and like love can be a cliche, or like The Help, whatever. It felt like, with The Favorite, I don't know, it was like a tone I hadn't seen you in before, like
Yeah.
surrealist. And I saw an interview where you said it was a very conscious choice to have a scene with nudity because you felt like it was, I don't know, true to the script or something, or the scene. So I was wondering, were you like, okay, I'm gonna do this kind of movie now? Or rather, was it like, look, this is a great director, I'm just gonna work with great people?
I truly have never, in my whole time working, which is, I guess, longer than, but it's not that long, I guess. It's like 12 or 13 years now. Well, I guess that is kind of long. Have never, ever made a decision because I was like, this is the kind of thing I need to do now.
Okay.
It's always been falling in love with either an element, or now, if you're lucky enough, to get to the place where you get to start making choices, which is crazy and so rare, and I know will not last forever, like will ebb and flow.
Yes.
Now I try to like combine all
yes.
three elements of like the script, the character, and the director. But in different times, it's either I am dying to work with this director, or I am, this script is
Kinda
incredible,
character,
or this
okay.
character is. But it's always been about that, and not about like this idea is important, or like it needs to be this big movie, or I need to show my
something
tits, or whatever.
Right. Okay. And do you feel like, did you have like was it an agent or a manager? Did anybody ever? Was it you that was like, I'm gonna be in great things, or did you know what I'm saying, or did somebody say like, look, you're excellent, you should only be in excellent things?
No. I mean, I've had the same manager since I was 15, which is really great because we've gotten to talk about everything, and he's like a member of my family.
He's seen you.
He's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, his name is Doug, and he's incredible. And
Shouts out Doug.
So what's up, Doug?
What's up, Doug?
But I felt. And I don't know if you feel this way. Do you feel like you want to be part of things that you would yourself want to go see, or would affect you as an audience member? Not just like, I've got to play this role because it's...
Man, I got one of my best friends, Nick, over there, and that's like often what we talk about is like, I don't want to feel like I'm getting into opera or ballet or like an art form that is slowly becoming less viable, because when people our age go to see movies, they're like,
What is
it shouldn't,
this?
yeah, and it shouldn't, but that's where La La Land or Moonlight, or I would hope like Lady Bird, or and it's bad to reference something you're in, but like that people our age or young people could see and go, oh yeah, this is a mirror, like I said, like this is not like yelling at us or something.
Yes, it's not like an untouchable old statue.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. I feel like audiences respond, it's almost like the way I think about acting. Like Joaquin Phoenix had a quote where he says, some actors are worried about wearing different scarves or something, and I think that's great, but more important to me than wearing different scarves is like chasing a certain feeling. What that feeling is, I don't know, but I'm chasing it. And I read that and I was like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And in the sense that I think it's really cool when an actor can shapeshift. And certainly you don't want to play versions of yourself. But what's the coolest is when an audience can see like real humanity on screen and really like learn about themselves or something, rather than, oh wow, look at that guy go.
Absolutely.
And I think that goes for the movies too, and for explosions and everything like that. Like, and that's what's cool about all this content that's made now is like, I think more and more stories are made about real shit and not like, okay, well that's what that person's going through or whatever. Something like that.
God, you're so much more eloquent than me.
No.
You're just sitting here like, please keep talking.
I understand why I do things. It doesn't make me any different, all right? I'm attracted to craziness, and you're just embarrassed because I was like this amazing thing, like your special creation or something, and you don't like who I am now.
Yeah? Who are you, Nick?
This is me, Dad. Here, this is who I am.
No, I want to ask you about Beautiful Boy.
Oh, okay, all right.
You have to talk to me about Beautiful Boy.
Okay.
Tell me how that came to you and what, I mean, you are so fantastic. You're so fantastic
And then
in
say about The
everything.
Favorite, you were so excellent in The Favorite.
Stop
and it's a
Just
departure.
receive this. Hold
Okay,
on.
all right.
You are so fantastic in that film. You killed me. And I was just like, I don't know how you are the way you are. Is it just easy for you?
What's that?
Acting.
No.
I mean, really, it just feels like you're one of those people who just like, you can't, like Olivia Colman, who's in The Favorite. I was like, this isn't something you can learn. Like this, I don't know what to do because that can't be taught. It just comes through her. It
Thank you,
feels like
Emma.
it does for you.
And you're hearing that from you. I'm gonna receive that and
But
take a moment
truly,
to...
you're so alive and honest in every moment. And to see you in that kind of pain was just like, it was excruciating. And so, what was it like?
What was it like? That was difficult. It was really difficult, and I was aware of it for about a year, and nothing I'd been in had come out yet, so I knew it was going to be like that to me is like my get. Like everything else, I weirdly kind of stumbled into, including Call Me by Your Name and Lady Bird, and that was like the thing that I went into the LA audition room and did it again and again and again,
Wow.
and there was a chemistry with Steve. And it felt maybe similar to your Easy A thing as opposed to these other films I worked on where it was like, well, it's gonna be good if it happens to be good.
Yeah.
This was like a script people had coveted and the books were really renowned. And we shot in LA on a stage too, so all of a sudden it felt like, wow, we're gonna make, it's like we gotta, I don't know, it felt like there was an added pressure or something.
Yeah.
And then living the experience, I always feel like I gotta be careful, like I don't wanna be an actor who like waves, like sells his struggle or something to validate the role or something, because what Nick Sheff actually went through is always going to be way crazier than what I would have gone through acting it. And yet, just to, sometimes I feel like your mind knows you're acting, but your body doesn't know you're acting.
Definitely.
And to go through those scenes, like when you're begging your father to come home, and he says no, like I really can't imagine anything worse than that, or that feeling of you are such a chaos in our life, we can't allow you in your home anymore. And
do you use? There's some actory stuff,
yes,
but are you more drawn to substitution or imagination, or does it just depend on the role? Or
I love that question because
day?
I think it depends on the role, it depends on the day. I think sometimes I get to set and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm ready to go today. So if anything, I'm like, chill. But then on some days, like, if I'll get really in my head or something, I've said it before, but I'll really like before a take, if we ever do something together, you'll see, I'll just be like reaching around everything just so like I'm so out of my head as possible.
So you're present,
literally
you know
just
what's
like,
beneath you and
yeah,
around you.
exactly,
Yeah,
like
that
a
makes
wall or a
total
sharp
sense.
edge or a corner. What about you?
That's well, it totally depends on the circumstance and I guess the role. But it's funny that you mentioned that because I've was insanely anxious as a child, and a therapist told me once that if you're ever like in panic, but they said to me, if you're ever in absolute panic and you feel like you're out of your body, just this is a gray chair. This is a table, this is a plant, and you just kind of look around for a minute or two and just say what's real and around you, and it really does bring you back into your body.
Yeah, and it grounds you or something.
But that makes a lot of sense for
just
acting.
reminded me
I really
about
used
that.
it in those moments.
And we don't have to like talk about that because it's not so much movies, it's more like mental health and stuff. But I remember reading something about that where you said that when you were younger, you dealt with that kind of stuff. And truly, I'm not even just saying this. This is around when I'm getting manic. It was around when I was working on Miss Stevens that I read that interview and I felt like, okay, you can be anxious or you can experience emotions as a human, even as a guy, and have a career and like be you can still be successful, whatever that means. And I don't know. Do you ever think about like I did this roundtable yesterday with a lot of actors, and it's so interesting because there's all these machinations at play now. People have their representatives there and things like that, and yet when it comes down to it, when you're talking like the other actors we're talking right now. Everyone was like a quiet kid in the corner of the classroom.
I was not a quiet kid.
Okay, all right.
I was not a quiet kid at all.
Why
Maybe those guys were. That makes sense.
No.
But no, I was not a quiet kid. I was. It's weird because I confuse myself with my personality because half of me is like a total ham performer, like class clown.
Yes.
And the other half of me is like a terrified, like everything has to be perfect or else the whole world is going to fall apart.
Yes.
Like anxious, but those two things, and it's gotten a lot easier as I've gotten older.
Okay, good.
But as a kid, those two sides were so confusing to try to marry.
Yes.
Because it was like, one was like way too old for how old I was, and one was like just being a kid and
Yes.
being hammy.
Yes.
And it's really, I was not quiet.
Although when
It
you
always exploded out of me.
regardless,
I've gotten quieter as I've gotten
you've gotten
older, even though I'm still not quiet.
But when were you working as you were like still an adolescent? Like how old were you when you were doing
No,
these
I mean, I
stuff
moved
now?
to LA when I was 15, and by the time Superbad was when I was 17, and then it's been
Okay.
pretty much going since
you're
then. And I
17
just
and
turned
moving.
30 10 days ago.
Hey, happy birthday!
Hey.
Yay, snaps.
So yeah, so it's been a little bit. How old were you when you started working?
Well,
working?
it's interesting because I think something happens when you're in New York or LA sometimes when you're young, where
Yeah.
they have to like cast, like the industry has to cast out of
They,
the cities.
the collective they,
the
yeah,
collective
yeah.
people. And like, so I think I knew a lot of kids that were like going up for things when you were like 6 or 7, because like everybody's parent, or not literally, but it's
so
more of a common thing. And I kind of worked intermittently, but I never totally vibed with it, and it felt kind of fake. And I'm actually happy about that, because
Yeah.
I think that was probably a good thing. And when I got to that high school, I was like, in fact, it was on a day where like kids were talking about agents and things, and I was like, oh shoot, like I know someone that has sent me on things before, like I need to milk that, or I need to like.
So when did you start like auditioning in this capacity?
I did a play called The Talls in New York about a bunch of tall people.
Wait,
Literally.
are you on stilts?
No,
What
no,
happens?
No, but it's about it's like in San Francisco in the 70s, and like kind of like a neuter dad is like running for city comptroller, and like his family like low-key shits on him, and it's just like a comedy of errors kind of thing around that.
Sounds great.
But I had so much fun doing it that
Yeah.
I went in to see that. I went to see that agent, and I was like 15. I went into that office, and I was like, like send me on more things this year.
time.
Like basically
Yeah.
like I'm ready to really do this. And
We're the same age, 15.
yes,
Yeah.
I know that's when you're like, I need
You're like,
to be.
I am an adult now. I have grown. I'm 15.
But that's what I was gonna ask is like, because I worked just enough so when I was 19 and I dropped out, I had a weird like desire to be a part of that more.
Yeah.
But it didn't stunt me. And then I guess that's a big cliche, but you see it like stunt people sometimes when
Where
they
they
work
get
too much
kind of
young or something.
frozen
yeah,
in
or
that.
it's weird. You think people are actually, I've just realized this. You think people are being very mature at a young age, and then you
Yes.
realize, oh wait, you have the aesthetic of it, but the substance of it, they robbed you. You didn't go to
You're
school.
still
you
a
didn't.
kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
So did you feel like you worked? Did you feel like you worked too much when you were young? Maybe this is like a weird question, but like.
Well, I think I was really lucky that my first movie, I was about to turn 18, and then things started. But I will say, like, I'm wondering how you're feeling, although you seem probably light years more intelligent than I was at 22. But how are you feeling, like, in this time in your life? I guess you don't know because you haven't been older than you are right now.
Yes, true.
But at that, because I felt like, because Easy A came out when I was 21, and Spider-Man came out when I was 22, and I felt really, like in that time period, to lose anonymity. I didn't really understand what that would be like, and I think as a kid, I like had this fantasy that like, oh, that would be so cool, and it would be, and it was easily the hardest aspect of all of this, even though I'm so grateful and like I would never want to do a different job. It's I know there is a trade-off in that way. It was a really intense experience for a couple of years to experience that. How are you feeling with that kind of shift?
I think partly because it's not really overpowering or dramatic in any way, truthfully, and like people stop me, but it hasn't been really nuts.
Yeah.
And yet I must be honest too and be like, I feel such pride for Call Me by Your Name and Lady Bird, and that the fact that we made those on like shoestring budgets, and then I went in for Spider-Man, I went in for those things, and I didn't get them, and those are like prepackaged, you will be famous after this kind of thing. And those, Call Me by Your Name and Lady Bird, they really weren't. Like, we were making like art house movies. So I think that's what helps me is when I get stopped, it's rarely, it's about the movies. Like, so, no, it's been all right.
It was for me too. It's just so fun. I think it was just the idea of like your external, because one of the things I value so much is just being able to like be,
you.
And and I completely feel that way now. It was just in that time period where I was like,
this is weird.
What is all like?
Yeah,
This is so.
okay.
Yeah, it was just this.
And what was it,
interesting
friends
shift.
or family or just experience
No,
that
that all
helped
stayed
it?
the same. I think it was
okay.
just, I think it was probably experience,
Yeah.
and that the people around me are the same and are wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's,
And I don't know if it's been your
very
experience, but
helpful.
I feel like the more, even right now doing this with you, like, I have met very few bad eggs, I feel like. And I think it's luck too, like Steve Carell and Armie McConaughey and Lily Rabe and Julia Hart and Greta, like, these are great people.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's I always feel like I gotta voice that because
I've been pretty lucky in that sense too. There's been so many people, and also, like people that you work on these things, and I don't think I've ever worked on a film where I haven't made like at least one lifelong friend that I'm still in touch with.
That's awesome to hear.
Do you feel that way?
Every variety actor on actor I do, I make
We're friends for
friends
life.
for life now.
Okay, good, we're in. We're in.
I feel, I do feel that way. I did a Christmas movie called Love the Coopers. That was awesome. And if the director, Jesse Nelson, ever happens to watch this, I had a great time.
Wasn't that with Diane Keaton?
Yeah, absolutely.
How was she?
What a legend.
Oh,
what a
God.
legend. And I was going up for a Rob Reiner movie around then.
Oh, man.
This is maybe like impolite to have even said to her, but I was kind of like, would you mind calling him and saying this kid is like, but I didn't get it, so it didn't work. But she did call him. So, and that's not evidence of her being a good person. She didn't have to do that. Like she's just a great. Also, what's really cool about Diane is, like, you know, anytime people can be like a unicorn of any sort, like you feel like they can't really. And what's cool about Diane is like her fashion influenced her movies, influenced her fashion, influenced her movies. And,
Yeah,
so
I
that's
think
really
you're
cool.
a unicorn.
Thank you. I think you're a unicorn too.
I think you're a true
and
unicorn.
I gotta say, because I wanted to say it to you before we did this, but I see like what you've done in your career. That sounds like so self-important or something, but really what you've done. I see like what you and Jennifer Lawrence did, and I think, okay, this is alive and well, like this industry, and because you guys, in your own ways, you ladies have in your own ways done. You know, have walked that line of things people are actually seeing, but then also really artistic projects, and it makes me really hopeful because in unique ways, and then also all your pictures together are so iconic. When we take pictures together, it's like, man, look at all that star power in the picture. But,
come hang out with us. Come on.
oh man, I can't even imagine.
Oh, God.
She's really awesome too.
She is so awesome. Okay, so I want to talk about, and you've probably talked about this a lot, but I want to talk a little bit about your preparation for Beautiful Boy, because it was so, I mean, what you were experiencing as that character, who I know is a real person, was immense. So what did that require of you?
Well, Felix, the director, he wanted me to lose weight at the top, and
How old were you there? When did you make it?
You know, I was 20. I was 21.
Okay, so did you make it last year?
Shoot, no, I must have been 20. I was 20.
Okay. How could you lose weight?
I know.
What did you
I know. That's
do?
what I said to him. I was like, "Well, I am skinny, sir," and he was like, "But you must be skinnier." And I thought, like, well, there's no business like show business.
How much did you have to lose?
I lost. It was supposed to be 15.
Whoa!
And then it was 18.
Oh my God, no!
So,
what did you just not eat?
It's like very hyper concentrated portions of like
Were you
nutrients.
miserable?
You see Snowpiercer?
Yeah.
It's like the protein goo. It's
Oh
Snowpiercer.
no!
It's like goo.
Soylent or something.
Yeah.
So what? Did you?
Yeah, it's miserable. I don't know.
Were you sick?
Not
I mean,
miserable,
is it
but
hard?
like, yeah, it's hard.
Not to be eating?
And like you said before, like I feel like influenced by my environment a lot when I act. That's why I really don't like to act on stages. I want to act like with actual tactile, real things.
Mm-hmm.
And to just be in that state was like, it was jarring and jarring for people around me, especially with the makeup too. I could come on set and I would see Steve and his face would drop. He told me one day, he said no more. He said like, he's like, you can't do anymore.
He got protected.
Yeah, and well, he pulled me aside like, because you realize like SAG protections, a lot of things. My mom works for a union, so they're so important. But you realize like, you know, it's often not somebody trying to be malicious. They're like just trying to whatever, like get their day done and not go into overtime or whatever. Maybe that's malicious, so there was that. There were the books that I stayed really close to, like a trust process with Steve, just getting to know him, and then the gift from Nick, who said, we understand, and David, who said, like, this isn't a biopic, basically, and, like, get this as right as possible. And that was, like, a big relief, because I thought, okay, forget mannerisms or like picking up a cup in a weird way, and
That's a
do
great
it. Just
freedom.
do it.
Yeah.
And then lastly, it was like really, it was just say jumping into it or something.
The Queen has taken a shine to me, and I will drip poison into her ear regarding you until she is mad with hatred for you. Or we could have a mutually advantageous friendship. Count of 3, yes or no?
Well, if you're so close to the Queen, why not just ask this favour yourself?
And now on the favorite, what was the preparation? Because we worked with the same, I don't know if you want me to bring this up, but we worked with the same dialect coach.
Who, Joan or Neil?
Neil.
Oh,
The best.
he is so
The best.
fantastic.
And your accent is, you gave me such confidence because, I don't know, was it with Neil on the favorite or
it
no?
was with Neil.
Yes!
Yes!
Because
Yes.
I worked with him on The King, which is a movie I did this summer, and
Oh, God, he's
that's kind of what I wanted
amazing.
to do because I was like, wow. Because I feel, I know a lot of British people that can do excellent American accents.
Yes, me too.
And the
tough.
pool is a little bit smaller
It's a little
on the
bit
American
smaller.
end.
But it's also
So-
that a lot of British people have gone to drama school and have been listening to the
American
American
shows,
accent
right.
for such a long time.
And we're
so
just
they've
looking at
worked on it.
American
And we're
things.
like, oh, guy, blah, 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 like a terrible British accent. So the preparation for that, it wasn't too extensive because we had a long rehearsal process with
Okay.
Yorgos.
What's long, like 3
Like
weeks?
3
Okay.
weeks. And so it was like horseback riding, shooting those guns, all really bonding and doing kind of theater-ish
Yes.
exercises.
Yes.
And
That
then
gun shooting scene is incredible.
the gun shooting scene.
Your
It was
face is so
fun.
amazing in that scene because I don't know, and you don't have to define it for me, but I don't know. It looks like it's trepidation at first, but then you really lean into it, and it's like, oh my God, is she enjoying this?
She was
there's a lot that
she
happens
was a
there.
layered person to get to play.
That's
it was
amazing.
so. I mean, all 3 of those women. It was such a dream to read
What was
that
Rachel
script.
like?
And oh my God, she's
Man,
maybe the most beautiful
She
person
gave me
I've
great
ever
advice
seen,
about the
and
thing.
so wonderful.
at the same time,
Yeah.
I want to hear more about that, but she gave me great advice
advice.
about, kind of like your life becoming public. I met her last year, and she said, if you try to run away from it, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And if you lean into it, you might actually enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And were you working closely with him on the character/accent, or was that a thing where you were like, day one, you're like, here it is?
With Yorgos?
Yeah.
No, he does not talk about that stuff.
Okay, interesting.
He's like, he's very.
Because he's thinking about other things, or because
he kind
wants
of like lets you do your thing,
Okay,
and then
okay.
he can gauge it from there, which
Okay.
I'm actually kind of used to that process, and I really enjoy it because it gives you a lot of freedom to sort of. I mean, I love getting in there and being really, like really digging deep
Yes.
into the script, the character, everything with the director.
Right.
But that is not Yorgos' way.
Okay, okay.
It is not his way.
Okay.
It's kind of you guys find it and figure it out, and then
Okay.
he will calibrate
Because
from
he's
there.
giving it to you, or like a sci-fi director is just thinking about other things?
No, I think I think the reason he hires the people he hires is because he trusts them to
Okay.
do what
Yes.
they do with the character, which is lovely because you feel
Trusted. or
trusted.
something,
Yeah. And then, there's no micromanaging. But then he's more specific as you start shooting.
And then on the
And what was Felix?
Man, Felix is a dream, and he made a movie called Broken Circle Breakdown that if you want to weep all day, I
That's
implore
the
you
one
to
to
watch that.
watch?
I mean, that's like, it's also a beautiful movie that takes place in Belgium, but has a whole bluegrass musical theme to it.
Oh,
and
God, amazing.
No, and what a dream. And also, like I said before, I read for him like 6 times.
Yeah.
So once he gives it to you, you're like, I like you. You've given me an opportunity. So no, a lot of gratitude. And also that was a tough. There were little moments for the actors to be like, hey, Felix, thanks for a great day, So he was really great with us because it wasn't the kind of thing we looked at the call sheet and you were like, oh, tomorrow's like a lighter day.
Tomorrow's pretty
It was like,
breezy.
oh God, like then they went through this, so.
Yeah.
But it was awesome working with him.
It's so great.
They wanted me to ask a social media thing, but I was really inspired because I feel like 8 years ago or 10 years ago, there was this thing where it was all new still and everyone was like, oh my God, everyone has to be doing this now.
Yeah.
And I think what I've seen is like with you or J-Law or like Beyonce or Frank Ocean. Well, I guess he's now on it.
Wow,
But
this group is
No,
really-
sorry. But when people are like at a certain level or something, you're not doing it. And I think that's so badass or something. And
I mean, honestly, I think it's more because I would be overwhelmed by being like putting something out there and then being like, why did I say that?
Okay.
Or what were these comments? I think it would just be too much of an influx for my personality.
Okay.
I think it's a
like a
sensitivity
self-protection
thing.
Okay,
it's like a
okay.
sensitivity level thing.
Oh, so you're not like, I'm better than this.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I do not feel higher than it, and I really like it, and I think it's great, and I do lurk, but I don't.
Yes,
feel,
you lurk though. You lurk though
Oh
on the
yeah, I'm a
Finsta.
lurker, big time. But you
Stone
have
34.
you have it.
I do. Yeah.
Do you like it? Does it help you feel like engaged in the world
It makes
in an
me.
interesting
You know what?
way?
I like the idea of it. God, I really hope this is not pretentious, but I like the idea of it as like almost another expression of self, and rather than like, here's my career, like being like, you know, like. Here's some clues.
And here are some thoughts I have.
Yeah,
about things.
exactly.
Yeah, no, it's nice.